out of apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
What's good? You're to Apartment 5B podcast hosted by your man Kill. I got my brother. This is the closest thing I got to a brother right here. This guy right here, known him since 9th grade, Lincoln on motivation, going back to what's that, 1990? That's crazy. Morgan State, all that good stuff. My brother Ab, what's good, bro?
Peace. What's going on, good brother? It's a pleasure to be here. Always chopping it up with you. You know, I always live for these moments. So yeah, I'm good.
Yo, you be killing me with this be here shit. You have to own it, nigga. You own you Look, in the apartment.
I can't
so
claim it, man, because you is the reason why this thing still goes is because of your consistency, your determination, and your ability to see the long run. You know what I mean? I'm on the West Coast, so my time frame is always off, and I can never really make the shows the way I wanted to. Because of, just being a dad and a husband and all like that. But but honestly, outside of that, still the world should know we would not have a writer's bench. We would not have an Apartment 5B if it wasn't for my brother right here. So I always got to keep begging him up because, there's a reason why this thing is a success, because you do it like that. So it's peace.
I appreciate it, brother, but the success is yours too. So, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But we got to get on the show. Beautiful love fest. Black men showing each other love as we should. You know what I mean? Indeed. Adjusting your crown isn't always a bad thing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. For all the jokes that I got today for adjusting crowns is also a good thing too. You know what I mean? Definitely want to shout out Ann in the building. Peace, Apartment 5B Peace. Brothers. Peace, brother. You know what I mean? For rocking with us. But yo, tonight we are chopping it up about De La Soul's new album, Cabin in the Sky. Mm-hmm. And the reason why sometimes you just gotta go back to the beginning. And for people who may not know, is that the beginning of Live from the Writer's Bench from 11 years ago was just me and Ev. Me and Ev just being in a place in our lives. Bro, I don't even think you was married yet. I know you didn't have kids. Yeah, you weren't married. You didn't have kids. I didn't have no kids. I wasn't no chief of staff. So, nigga, we had time. Me and Ev be on the phone for 3 hours talking hip hop. In the middle of a Monday afternoon, you know what I mean? So it started from this. It started from me and him. So anybody who rocks with Apartment 5B, you know what I mean, knows that it really all started from Live from the Writer's Bench with me and this guy right here. And we had to take it back to that. Again, shout out Ant. Last night was incredible. Prayerfully, tonight will be dope too. Here's the thing with me being Fred Flintstone. I ain't know nothing about this live streaming. Now I'm addicted to it. I'm like, bet. Oh, there's a way to get people to chime in while we rocking. Like, oh, that's a beautiful thing. So definitely wanted to throw it back up. Spence is in the building. My man Spence, very dope brother from Philly, comes down once a month from Delaware. Drives from Delaware to DC to volunteer with my teens in my studio. So definitely shout out to you, Spence. But yeah, we just had to take it back to the beginning. Just me and Ev. And through the biggest reason for this is that I know Paz is one of Ev's favorite MCs. You know what I mean? So I really just wanted to, this is gonna be a review of the album, how we feel about it, but it's really me trying to get into Ev to try to figure out what the fuck Paz is doing. Like what, like, you know how somebody got the tiger style or the scorpion style. Like, I don't know what style Paz has. So, you know, we're gonna be going into that and everything like that. But Ev, let's set it off, bro. What were your expectations when you heard, you know, Mass Appeal, Nas is coming, all these features, and you saw De La Soul? What was like your first, you know what I mean, reaction for that?
My first reaction to hearing the De La album, I want to say I was skeptical. I was hesitant because a lot of times we have these albums after people pass, and it's usually verses that were throwaway verses. It may have been tracks that never made the cut. So a lot of times you're getting like sometimes B-level kind of stuff. And
Right.
also, if I can add, sometimes I have issues with it because there's a reason why before these artists passed away, why these particular things didn't make it. And I'm a person who believes if the artists themselves didn't want this particular thing out, then we shouldn't put it out, because there's a reason why they didn't want it out. So I wasn't sure how to play it. You know what I mean? I wasn't sure how this thing was going to work. I didn't think it was going to be bad, but I wasn't sure of the expectations, because De La, De La would give you some hot, and De La's once in the blue, they'll give you a dud. So the last one to me was a dud. I wasn't really feeling it. And this one has knocked down so many barriers. So my initial thing was concern, but a little hesitation, but still open to seeing what the possibilities were.
Right. And I think it's similar for me, like with you, because the first thing I saw was, ain't Dave dead? Like, we got y'all, Nas, you Mob, P's dead, Big L, he's dead, like De La, he's dead. It's like, yo, what's this? So again, my initial reaction was that. It was similar when Cat hit me and was like, yo, you excited about this Pete Rock album? And I was like, I'm only gonna be excited if they in the same studio working on the music together. If Tom is acting in some movie and he's writing rhymes in between takes, and Pete's just, so when word got the ear that, nah, like, yo, Com live in New York again. Like, nah, he hit the studio every day with Pete. I got excited. And similar, I was kind of like, yo, I remember a while ago, Pete Rock and Premier was supposed to be producing an entire De La album. And I mean, we talking 10, 12 years ago. So that definitely had my interest peaked from back then. Like, word? Like, oh, a Nas and Premier. Like, I'm not Nas Premier, still stuck from yesterday. A Pete Rock Premier produced. Because one, I don't think those two have ever produced an album. Like, just Dolo, like the both of them. Like, I think the closest thing we got was the actual 12-inch, because you had All City had the A-side with Primo and the B-side Priceless with Pete. Like, or they've done, of course, Illmatic, Pete got a song, Primo, but it's never been a whole album, just the two of them, and then it's De La. So I'm like, oh, it's gonna be crazy. So I was like, if some of those joints made this album, this, I could definitely be excited for that. And I think somebody told me like, yeah, it was. And then when I started to see the track list, I'm like, wow, okay, so I think Pete did like 4, maybe Preem did 3, or you know what I mean? So that's kind of what got me excited. So tell me this, bro, the first time you spun this album, and I know you're a Nas fan, I know you're a fan of a lot of MCs, but this is what I wanted to know from you first and foremost. This is when I was like, bro, I don't care what time you call me and talk about this album. And Ev called me at 3:47 in the morning, and I just literally went to sleep. Like, nigga, normally, like, I must have just gone to sleep at 3:30 because normally I'm up. But I had to know, out of all the albums that dropped this year, which you felt about this. So what was your first initial feeling of the De La once you heard the joint?
Wow. I was, the funny thing about this, when we talked, I think it was around Thanksgiving, I believe. And I was at my in-laws, and they have a little, like, they got a little balcony. So I was out on the balcony going through it. And if you could have seen me on this balcony, I was literally losing my mind from one track to the next track to the next track, because I couldn't believe, like, how good it was. I think I was floored at how good it was, because I almost, even when I got done, like, I know you told me, like, yo, when you listen to it, call me back. I still wasn't going to call you back because I know I'm 3 hours behind you. So I was like, I'm not going to hit him up. I'll probably hit him up tomorrow. But when I got through to the last track, yo, man, I was so moved by the joint. That's why I was like, no, I got to call it. And that's when I did call, man. So my first initial thing, man, if you saw me in that balcony, man, I was literally on that joint, like, nodding hard. Just like, yo, man, just really into this album, because I was like this. I was so floored at how good it was. I didn't trust myself. So I was like, okay, look, this is my initial thing. Let me come back tomorrow and let me hear it with a clear head. Because, you know, at nighttime, I might blaze a little bit. And sometimes everything sounds good. So I was like, no, let me just wait. Let me hear it one time. I'm loving it, but let me come back the next day. I listened to it that night like 2 or 3 times, number one. And then the next day, that's all I played for like the next couple of days was that album. So I knew it was as dope as I thought it was. And I'm always hesitant to also call something a classic because I feel like things that are classic has to sit with you. They have to have some kind of longevity to it. And I wasn't sure, you know, first listen, you don't know, like, okay, it's dope. I'm gonna play it again. It's dope. I'm gonna play it again. And I realized how much I was playing it. I was like, oh, this joint a classic. I got to get his 5. Because I was like, is it a 5 mic album? It's not. But I was like, I got to get his 5 just off of my initial response to wanting to keep listening to it. And then, you know, I got a little one. So my gauge, one thing I dug about this album too, and actually I don't want to go too far, but one thing I dug about this album is I can play it in the car with my kids. And Kosi was in the back. Like, I think Package is his favorite album. It's his favorite track on the drum.
Okay.
So it's just Patty Cake. Patty Cake is his favorite drum.
Okay.
But yeah, man, that I'm still to this right now, still playing this album like crazy.
Right.
Still.
Shout out again to Spence. I was hoping it was better than the last one. I think we all was hoping because that Anonymous Nobody was a dud. You know what I mean? And that's why I was a little excited because I just didn't want that to be the last De La Soul album. Right. You know what I mean? Like, that was my big thing. Like, that was my thing. You know what I mean? So
let me flip it though. What was when you first heard it, your first sit down and listen to it? This is outside of all the Twitter chatter and everything like that. What was your initial thing when you first went through it?
The first joint, I'm just pulling it up now. It took me back to the first time I heard De La Soul is Dead, which was dope to me. Like, De La Soul is Dead came out when I was 15 years old. Like, dog, I'm 51. Like, I want people to let that sit in for a second. You know what I mean? Like, I was 15 when De La Soul is Dead came out. I was, 13, 14 when 3 Feet came out. You know what I mean? And I'm 51. So, I mean, just the beginning with Giancarlo Esposito, like, so they had me from the rip with the whole roll call and then ending it with Dave, then going into You Don't Stop. Like, I think the thing that I really loved about this album, and again, we'll get to that. So First Expectations, I liked it. Like, I think the only song, the first run that I didn't really like was the joint, what's that joint? Different World, not Different World. That's Pete. Not Patty Cake, not The Silent Life of the Truth. The joint. Oh yeah, Just How It Is. The joint where he's talking about, I guess Paz is talking about get the guys cheating and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't love that joint. The funny thing was when he starts off with like and that took me back to Biddies in the BK Lounge because I was as soon as he said it was I was about to start spitting biddies, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I mean that's the only one, and not to say I didn't like it because I judge things like, do I skip the song? No, I don't skip the song. So then it's not that bad that I don't like it, that I'm skipping it, but it just wasn't a favorite. But I love the album, and bro, when I got the number 15 in F with Black Thought, bro, I must have kept that on repeat for probably a half hour. Like, and I love that feeling when I'm listening to something, especially for the first time, and a song sticks to me that I just gotta keep hitting back. Like, we gotta listen to that again. And I mean, and just for 2 seconds about this real quick, because some boy was like, yo, Kill, you ain't make no sense last night. 1 minute you saying you ain't have expectations, then you thought it was 5 mics, then it exceeded your expectations. And again, let me adjust some crowns real quick. Niggas need to learn how to keep up with a conversation. This is why y'all marriages and y'all relationships are so fucked up, because niggas don't know how to follow a conversation.
All right.
I said in the beginning, I was not hyped for the album. I said that. Then I said the week of, I got hyped for the album. You know what I mean? And I started getting excited. My man Ilfam was talking shit about it. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I'm gonna get a little hype. I heard what he had done for De La, what Preem had done for Ransom, Rock Marcy. So the week of, it went back up. I was like, yo, we may be getting something special. So my emotions changed. I get this, y'all. I get this, niggas. Niggas ain't used to emotions changing. You know what I mean? Which is why men and women bump heads a lot. I'm trying to teach y'all. I'm adjusting crowns. At the end of the day, so my initial reaction was I didn't have any expectations. The week of, those expectations rose.
Now, right now, you're talking about the Daylight album?
I'm talking about Nas. I'm talking about the Nas. And the only reason why I'm saying that is just to go back to what we were saying about initial reactions.
Gotcha.
But then I said it exceeded my initial expectations. Now, let me be an English teacher for you dumb niggas out here. Initial means the original one. So if you were paying attention to this conversation, my original stance on the Nas and Primo album was I wasn't expecting much. So let me explain that to you slow-mo niggas. I get it. Y'all out there. I'm adjusting crowns. I'm going to be doing this all year. I ain't going nowhere. So that is why I could have three different things. I know most niggas only got one emotion, just mad. But other human beings have various emotions. And I know it's hard to keep up with, but try to keep up. But with the Daylight, dog, it was from the door. I loved it from the door. Like the expectations, like, and when I heard enough, I was like, yo, why didn't Primo give this to Nas? Like, I remember that, and that initially is what started getting me hype for Light Years. When I was hearing what he was doing, like even on what's the joint, Sunny Storms, when the beat switches, like that was it. You know what I mean? So it was kind of just like, so yeah, I loved it. Real quick, one shout out with Tits at Life. If I'm saying that wrong, I apologize. I think that's Tits the Life. Shout out, y'all. Thank y'all for rocking with us. The last joint, I respect that from the last album, the Nobody album. I love that album. I definitely understand. I appreciate that, and because that's one of the things that like kills me about shit. Like when people be like, when I was a big Griselda fan, I'd be like West Side Gun. When people say they didn't like West Side Gun, I'm like, I get it. He's an acquired taste. Like I get, you may not like the voice, you may not like what he's talking about. I just hate when niggas be like, oh, you don't like them? Nigga, come the fuck on. Like it's understandable to not like them. So, and I appreciate you saying that you definitely understand. And like Spence said, it's a beautiful journey. That's a beautiful way to talk about this album. In fact, Spence is ahead of the game because I got a question for you later on that I saw that was posed to Daylight. So we talking about expectations. You loved it at the first joint. I loved it too. What are 5 of your favorite songs on here and why?
Okay, 5. This is a hard one because there's so many I like, but I'm gonna just run through. Of course, NF was one of my first favorites. Actually, when I was going through it the first time, it took everything in me not to keep a song on repeat. And the reason why I did that too, because I wanted the whole album experience before I started repeating the track. And I knew that I was 3 hours behind you, and I didn't want to keep you waiting because I could listen to NF like 20 times for real. Right. So that was one of my first favorites. Cabin in the Sky, man, I love that fucking song. Cabin in the Sky is does something for me. Something about the Silent Life of a Truth. I like that joint, even though the beat is not my regular kind of thing, but there's something about that track was kind of dope. Man, there's a bunch of joints in there. Yours was another one that I was digging on. I actually also like You Don't Stop. I think I like that one because it was the first. We had the intro. The intro, I don't know about y'all. I'll actually too say the actual intro is one of my favorite tracks because of how they did it. And when I first heard it, it made me misty, man. It made me misty because I knew, and the thing is, you knew where they were going. You knew where they were going, but still, the way that they did it, the way that it was done in a very like tasteful manner. And when you get to You Don't Stop, it's like, okay, now what is this Daylight sound? Now we all know that Dave is not here. We know we got Pos, we got Mace. What is the Daylight sound going to be? And I feel like the way that Pos brought us into this album with that first song was just excellent. It was like he just set us up for a great project. So that's just that's my 5 quick ones. But honestly, I like everything on this album. I mean, of course, I'm giving it 5 mics, but I like everything on this joint. It's not, there's some things that stand out a little bit more than others, but there's so many that I dig everything on this thing.
Right. Nah, I mean, we got a lot of same joints, man. I ain't gonna hold you, man. The package, man, I love that, man. Like, me, that's just the perfect song. And I think I love it too because, it's one of the few songs Dave is on this album. You know what I mean? So it's one of the few songs we get with Paz and Dave on it. I thought Pete killed the sample. I mean, we got Who Sampled Y'all, so it ain't no more sample snitching. It's an Old Impressions sample. It's one of those things. And Scratch Magazine, they used to ask producers like, yo, what's a beat that you wish you would have made that somebody else made? And I remember the beat miners talking about how they had the Les McCann sample for that Big used for 10 Crack Commandments. And it's like, yo, we had the record, we just didn't know how to use it. And then you hear Preem doing it, it's like, oh my God, I've had this Impression album for years. Like, why didn't I hear what Pete heard to be able to use it? I love the beat. That's crazy. Again, Cabin in the Sky. When I heard that, it was just like, wow. You know what I mean? That blew me away. I'm in no way trying to say this, but I felt like I remember hearing it and saying to myself, yo, this could be the new Troy. Like, this
Cabin
could be.
It's funny because it reminds me of Stakes is High.
Okay.
Yeah, I get kind of that Stakes is High vibe, which is on the same level as Troy for me.
Right.
To me,
right.
Some of my favorite hip hop songs, Troy, Stakes is High, they kind of wrote way up there, and the Cabin in the Sky reminds me of Stakes is High like that.
Right. And before people start bugging, I'm not saying it's better than Troy. I'm just saying, like, the way he was talking about his dad and just Dave passing and everything like that, it was just like, and I'm assuming because I've been watching a couple of interviews and maybe I'm slow-mo and they talk about, I'm just assuming that maybe this is what Dave was talking heaven was like a cabin in the sky, or maybe I'm assuming that's where the title comes from, that somebody in their circle called heaven, like it's like a cabin in the sky or something like that. So that's just why I'm saying it kind of reminded me of Troy, because it's like, they're giving Dave his flowers all throughout the album, but I just felt like on that one, it was like, this is their Troy to, the way Pete and CL did it to T-Roy. It was like, this joint is for Dave. Same thing in F, man. I seldomly, Ev, I'm just like you, especially on that first listen. I don't want to keep going back to a song because I want to just listen to the whole album. But and Black Thought spazzed out on that. You know what I mean? Me and Spence was talking about his verse on that. So that was dope. Run It Back, man.
I forgot about Run It Back. Yeah.
When I heard Run It Back, it was like, yo, what the
that beat.
Shout out to Super Dave West, man. I mean Super Dave East, man. Dave West. There's too many Daves. Dave East is the rapper. Dave West. Super Dave West. Incredible job on this album, especially going up against the heavy hitters. Like, this dude is in the same room with Knots, Jake One, Cream, Pete Rock.
And he put his whole foot in that shit. He did his damn thing.
Yeah. And then again, Super Dave West, Day in the Sun, man. I love that joint, man. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Which was kind of like the second single off the album. Just love the joint, man. Just love those joints. So those are some of my favorite joints right there. My man and Cabin in the Sky is different. Daylight album, because Dave was my favorite right next to Paz. Sad to make Dave's no longer with us. Was put together. Yeah, I definitely feel you. And the funny thing is that one of my peoples on Twitter had said something like, it's incredible, last Daylight Soul album, and Daylight replied like, our last album, like, question mark. Like, so, I know what Pops is like, and Mace was saying, like, like they say on You Don't Stop, if we stop, then Dave stops, and that won't be the short shot, so it's definitely good to hear this. And again, this is one of those albums that keeps calling me back. I always...
Just on that, my bad.
No, do you think?
On that note, on the Dave note, one thing I have to mention, man, it felt like, I don't know how they recorded this album. It felt like, and it's crazy because I was talking to you and I was like, yeah, man, Dave just passed this year. And he was like, Dave passed like 2 years ago. And I was like, oh shit, yes, that's right, he did. it sounded like Dave was right in the studio with them recording. I'm sure he was at some point, but it felt like, I don't know when they recorded this joint, but I'm thinking the last 2 years, it felt like Dave was, like, I don't feel like they had to go and grab Dave vocals and put it to the right beat or nothing like that. It felt like Dave was right there through this whole process. So I love the way that, sonically, and it's just a shout out to the mixing engineer who actually, or the editing engineer who actually put this thing together. Man, they did a really good job on making Dave feel like he was in the room with them the whole entire time.
Yeah, again, I don't know what I would love to know, because it's the same to me with the Mob album. Like Prodigy, they made Prodigy sound incredible on this album. It doesn't sound like it's trying to blend the old verses with new beats. It sounds perfect. So we there with that. Let's talk about, who do you think was the dopest guest? Because we got a lot of dope guests on here. We got Common, we got Killer Mike, we got, who else is on here? You got Nas, you got I said Common, you got Q-Tip. Tip. So you got a lot of features on here, and in a good way, not in a bad. I didn't feel like anything was rushed, anything was forced, anything like that. So who was your favorite feature on this joint?
Hands down, Black Thought. Hands down. Thought's verse is so stupid on NF. That and the thing is, I love the fact, I don't know if Pos and Thought ever did a track together. They might have. I might have missed it somewhere, or it might have been something way back in the day. But to put them two cats together at this level, this stage of the game, where they're at lyrically, and I think this is kind of like what I was kind of touching on with the Nas and Primo joint. Like, if your pen is still good, your pen is still good. And these two MCs are two of my favorite MCs, right? So to have them on the same track and to have them both, like, not necessarily trying to outdo each other, but just trying to outdo themselves. And to put that together and have that thing, it was, that's why that's one of my favorite songs, because Pos kills it, and then Thought comes in and kills it. Two incredible verses, two incredible MCs. The way Thought, his ride on that joint, it's just, the shit was just dope. It's nothing, I could go on for days talking about it, but yeah, hands down, Black Thought.
Yeah, that's dope. My joint is Killer Mike, man. On 16 for my mama.
Yeah,
I mean,
for my mama.
The way he come in with the I'm rolling and smoking easy. I'm thinking about Mama Nisi. I told her I'm gonna be an MC, and Mom don't believe me. Smoking a joint, making a point. She tell her friends, my baby gonna be a rapper. Point at me, say, go again. Shit.
Again.
Yeah. And the thing I love about it is you can see that. You know what I mean? When you was growing up back in the day, that's what your parents, for young boys out there, your parents would be over there with their friends and your uncles. They'd be like, yo, do that new dance. You know what I mean? So, and they would point at you to go do it. Or like, do that. You tell a joke, like at the beginning of Eddie Murphy Raw. You know what I mean? Like, so when Mike is saying that, it's like, damn, I can see that in my mind. Like, yo, Mom, she point at me, say, go again. You know what I mean? So, and I loved it too in the beginning with Mike, like, yo, I got 24. You know what I mean? Mace like, nah, King.
Nah, just
give me a 16. Give me a 16. You know what I mean? And again, that's just daylight. Like, yo, let's shout out our moms. Like, and I feel like daylight's always been able. I feel like that's the thing. Like, when you're the drug dealer, coke rapper, it's hard for you to do sensitive shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard for you to pull off I think it would be hard for Conway, and I don't mean hard in that he couldn't do it, but it's just like, yo, here's a song for my mama. Like him, Conway, and West Side Gun, like, yo, 16 shots for my mama. Like, you know what I mean? Like, whereas with Daylight, like, they could do something fly like this. Right, exactly. You know what I mean? Have mama in the background, like, y'all niggas broke if y'all ain't fucking with my sons and my nephew. You know what I mean? So, but I just, that was my favorite guest joint on there. Like, Mike definitely killed that joint. Let's get into the part that I've been dying for quotables. You know what I mean? So what I want to do is I want to throw the quotables I have at you, and I want you to try to see if you're able to break down like what Pos is doing. You know what I mean?
try.
We gonna try. I respect your MC pen. And you're right. The new Mob Deep is dope. Is definitely dope. My favorites with Nas, Black Thought, and Q-Tip. Again, everybody. I love Tip's part. What would he say? My man, something got up in the sun. I forgot what it was, but Tip's verse was dope. Yep, killer of mics. That's right. Killer Mike, killer of mics, whatever. You know what they got me saying now? Salutary, and salutations. Like, I said that the other day to somebody. It's like, the fuck? I was like, listen to the New Daylight. You'll get it, nigga.
Yeah.
Sunny Storms. Pa says, the best weight loss is losing the opinions of other with a cross to nail to you for sinning. And then he says, but a cliff will never walk towards you for the fall. So plant firmly and where your knees begin to crawl. And it was funny because I'm playing it for T and I'm like, it's almost like, is this nigga dyslexic? Like, because I feel like the best weight loss is losing the opinions of others with a cross to nail to you for sinning. I feel like and I'm not, this is not a bad thing. When I'm saying dyslexic style, this is not a diss, this is not a knock. I'm just saying, I've just never heard, it seems like he almost rhymes backwards. Like, and I feel like somebody else would have been like, they're nailing you to the cross, so just forget about their opinions. Like, I feel like that's the way it normally would have came. But he goes, the best weight loss is losing the opinions of others with a cross to nail to you for sinning. So what is that? Like, or, but a cliff will never walk toward you for the fall. So plant firmly and where your knees goes to crawl. I feel like a regular human being, and I'm bigging up Pa, so I don't want anybody to think like this. I'm saying he's not down here with us mere mortals. Like a regular mere mortal would have said, you know, don't get too close to the cliff because you may fall. Like, you know, and then Pa hears that and then he flips it into, but a cliff will never walk towards you for the fall. So like, what is he doing, bro?
Yo, man, this is the thing with Paz. From what I don't know if anybody can really break down Paz outside of Paz. And the reason why I say that is because, one, when you're talking about De La, you're talking about MCs that really kind of started. I don't say they started because then you'll have people all up on my heels, but they kind of started their own language in a sense. Like the same way we give props to like Raekwon and Ghostface. De La, you know, we talking about blues get the muffin. What the fuck does that mean? Blues get the muffin. But to them, it makes perfect sense.
I never forget this shorty, and when I was in 9th grade, she was like, yo, what's potholes in my lawn? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, I have no idea. Like, so that's a good point. Like, they've made up their own language.
They made up their own language, but that's not to say. So one, let's start there. We're talking about MCs that are coming from Long Island, that already have their own lingo, and I can appeal to them cats because, like, for instance, we from uptown Philly. Uptown Philly has its own language. We got our own slang. We're gonna use that shit. I've seen it kind of populate, and you know, hear people down north or people down South Philly start saying it. But you know, you hear stuff that starts uptown, and it's something to be said about cats that walking around just with their own lingo. Number one. Now, that's not to discredit what Paz is doing. Paz is a ridiculous MC. So the way he puts, it's almost like he's writing almost fragmented, because it's like he'll have something here that'll connect here. And a lot of times cats will just stop there. He'll have a connection here, another connection here, another connection there. And it'll make perfect sense, but it'll have like super, you know, double, triple entendres in the shit. And it's like, yo, this cat is like, his thought process. That's the reason why Paz is one of my favorites, because he does stuff that they really need to do a class on dissecting Pastanuse's rhymes, because the way that he writes is such in an incredible way. Like, I heard something today, and another thing too that I love about this album is every time I listen to it, I hear something different. I hear something that I didn't hear the last time. Like today, I heard him say something crisis, and he flipped it to chrysalis or something like that. It was something like he just has this something
about a chrysalis. I know the part.
Chrysalis, yeah, exactly. So he does these things, man, where he just kind of like takes these fragmented parts and puts them together. Now, so do me a favor, Kill, read that verse to me again.
The piece I have is the best weight loss is losing the opinions of other with a cross to nail to you for sinning. And then another part of that same verse is, but a cliff will never walk toward you for the fall. So plant firmly and where your knee goes to crawl.
Your knee goes to crawl, yeah. I think also Paz is he's one of them cats. I see a few MCs do this where they really perfected the run-on sentence. Paz has truly perfected the run-on sentence. Some cats would do it. I think one of the first people that really like impressed me with it was probably Nas on Verbal Intercourse. Just the way he did that was really magnificent. You hear people time to time. You hear some cats do it. I've heard Kendrick do it from time to time. But the way Paz kind of like plays with these sentences, like he'll start a sentence in the middle of another one, and then it'll be complete. By the time he gets to the next sentence, you're on a different topic, but it's still connected.
Right.
Yeah. Give me another one of them joints. But yeah, that's
I got how it is. And it's funny because this is one of the songs that's not one of my favorite. I don't really love the beat, but I love Paz. He says, now here's your bestie saying the bestie causes the reason you should be lesbi. You strictly D, but still know the fee paid and time wasted. So yes, he continues to be removed by menus of your picks. So it's just, it's almost like, when you hoop and it's like you got the hezzy dribble and it's like you hesitate to get your defender to reach and then you come back. So it's kind of like, I feel like I was like this, the hezzy style, but here's the ill fam. Ill fam is in the building. You know what I mean? The perspective of season MCs this year is it shines so bright, so different. I love this era of hip hop. Yes, sir. Paz is dope as fuck. All shouts to Ill Fam. I had no idea how to live stream until this nigga told me the other day. So make all the jokes y'all want. Y'all know me. I'm Fred Flintstone. I have no problem saying that. But just I felt like this was the hezzy style because I'm like, now here's your bestie saying the mess he caused is the reason you should be lesbi.
Now let's take a moment. Number one, what I love about what Paz does is Paz gives you so many different kind of rides on this album. Like, he truly does the beat is the blueprint, and I'm going to listen to this beat and figure out how to lay in these pockets. And he does it so well.
Explain to someone listening, what do you mean? What is a pocket in the beat?
So, a pocket in the beat is, and this is subjective because everyone has their own pockets according to what your style is. But it's like you have these things when you're so inside of the music that a lot of times you'll see MCs and they'll get on the beat and they'll do what they do on this beat. And it'll be the same thing. It'll get another beat and they're going to do what they do on this beat. Some MCs will hear a beat and they're going to actually come closer to get inside of this beat. So you're in that pocket. It's like you find this groove where your breath control and your attention to syllables is perfect. And you're just in this pocket real well. Paz does that throughout the whole album. But this is one of my favorite points that he does it in, one of my favorite tracks that he does this in, because he's giving you some classic De La in that ride, because that what he's doing sounds like something that you would hear from 3 Feet High and Ross. That kind of that style. And you got to remember, for me, I've heard Paz Noose like grow and evolve. Most MCs don't do that. I think Paz gets better with time. He's already ill. He just keeps getting better. It's like, damn.
Yeah. I mean, bro, when you think about it again, 3 Feet came out, I'm 14. I'm 51. You know what I mean? Like, when you really think about that, and Paz sounds super sharp on this album. You know what I mean?
That's what my man just said, seasoned MCs. Like, he's a seasoned MC to know, like, okay, this is what the beat is doing. I'm going to jump into this thing like this. Now here's your bestie saying the mess he calls is the reason you should be lesbian. Like, number one, I wouldn't think that he was going to go lesbian at the end of that shit, number one. But it's and then what he's saying is so true. It's you know,
Right, that's the thing.
It's
that's
so
the
true.
thing.
It's such a true statement. So
right.
Yeah, go ahead, my bad.
And to just cut off lesbian and just say lesbi. Because it's not like, you know, again, a mere mortal would have just been like, oh, now you going both ways because of this. But I just feel like you give Paz what a normal mere mortal would say, he's going to take it and do this
and do
with
something different. Because some MCs would have went lesbian. They would, you know, they'd have broke it up. They'd have figured out how to be, you know, politically, well, not politically correct, but just English-wise correct in saying the thing. But no, you just say lesbian.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just, yeah, man, that's actually was one of my favorite verses right there. And I like shit when people say that just like tickles you. Like, oh man, that shit was it was so clever. I'm just gonna laugh at it. I still laugh when I hear it. I know it's coming, but I'm still gonna chuckle when I hear it because I think it's just a clever way to do it.
Right. And then the second part of you strictly D, but still know the fee paid and time wasted. So yes, he. Like it's not just so I for people watching, this is what Ev is talking about, the pocket. It's not just like it's not like somebody just saying you strictly D, but still know the fee paid and wasted. So yes, he. It's the way that he's you strictly D, you strictly. So it's still with the D. So strictly is rhyming with the D. That's going back to lesbi. So you should be lesbi. You strictly D, but still know the fee paid and time wasted. So yes, he. So it all goes back to the lesbi. Here's your bestie saying the mess he causes the reason you should be lesbi. You strictly D, but still know the fee paid and time wasted. So yes, he. And then goes into a whole nother sentence.
He went from giving you a visual of a conversation between two females to an internal conversation to the actual chick herself. Like, oh yeah, well, you know, yeah, my girlfriend's telling me I should be lesbian, but I'm in the end of the day, I'm not because I'm into guys and shit like that. Like he's like the way he tells a story, he can zoom in and zoom out so quickly.
Yeah. Like Ann said, Pops got that style flow in his own different ways, bro. You ain't never lied. The next one is the package. And this is Dave. Keep your tenor, boy. We beyond summertime. Want that good work? Call plug one at time anytime. Stay on the TikTok, but this ain't the kitty app. Black King shit, God. Where your city at? You know, and that just stood out to me when he was just like, stay on the TikTok, but this ain't the kitty app. And I think for me that resonated because people like, yo, Kill, why you ain't on TikTok? And I know TikTok has grown, but TikTok to me was just, you know, I work with teens. So that's always my kids doing dumb dances and stupid kitty shit. So when he said that, I was like, my nigga, like that. You know, stay on the TikTok, but this ain't that kitty app. I'm like, yeah, like, you know what I mean? Now, I know we're giving Paz all this love, but I'm about to always
switch up on you. Yeah,
okay, because I was gonna say the funny thing is Dave was always my favorite MC in De La.
Okay.
And I think me just being a civilian when it comes to MCing, I really didn't see the difference until probably you or somebody else who's like an MC broke that shit down to me. And I want people to understand that because I know in hip hop, we all want to have the same opinion. And to some extent we do, but the people who do the craft do it in such a way, especially people who I respect and do it in such a way, you hear things differently. My mother's a saxophone player, so trust me, you could listen to Coltrane and she's going to listen to Coltrane. I promise you, she's going to hear things you don't even grasp onto. Not saying you can't catch the bulk of it, but you're probably not going to catch all of it. You know, which is why I love having this conversation with an MC of Ev's caliber who I respect so much. But talk a little bit about Dave and what made Dave special with De La, because I feel like we all give all the love to Paz, but Dave has some quotables up in the De La discography too.
To the De La Soul fans from 3 Feet High and Rising, a lot of those De La fans were big fans of Dave first, I would say. Because even when we start talking about Blues Get the Muffin, Dave said that shit. So One of my favorite, and I can't even say it's a verse. It's like half a bar, but I swear I want to put this shit on a T-shirt. Is and I ain't heard a verse go dive in a while. It's so much to, and it's not. He's not saying a whole lot. It's not a whole lot of words, but he's saying so much. To me, I interpret it as like, yo, I don't write whack shit. Just to me, that's what Dave is saying. I don't write whack shit. I ain't heard a verse go dive in a while. So no, if you're getting some shit from me, you're getting like top tier. And I also, outside of that, I feel like Dave is spitting all through this album. That's why I'm like, yo, where were these vocals at? Like, where was, like, y'all had all this shit recorded already? Like, damn, y'all was in it. Because to me, Dave sounds better than he did on the last album, and even probably the album before that. Like, they both, Paz and Dave, have evolved on this album, which is a hard thing to say when one of the members have transcended. You know what I mean? So it's like, wow, like Dave is, you know, when you do hear Dave is spitting. Dave is spitting.
Yeah. Like Tiz the Life says right here, the fact that Dave and Prodigy and Def have better verses than a lot of MCs that are still alive speaks volumes. And that is huge.
It really
That's
does.
a huge point right there. It really does. So that was the package. I got the Silent Life of the Truth. Before the truth puts on his pants to get dressed, a lie travels the whole world making a mess. And if you sat down with a truth for the day, it would tell you how lies tries to block what it says. Telling truth to the side piece while lying to the spouse, and the needle in the haystack hits truth, it gets that traps intuition, which wakes the spouse up. So let's start with the before the truth puts on his pants to get dressed, the lie travels the whole world making a mess. And if you sat down with the truth for the day, it will tell you how the lies tried to block what it says.
I'm just sitting here kind of like in awe, because you know we have these things, and cats love to see, and I myself too, like when we talk about Nas, and Nas puts himself into perspective of a gun and shit like that, like we have an MC who has taken the idea of truth and put it into an actual being, an actual person who has a wife, who has, you know, has a thing, puts on his pants and goes out and does a thing. And it's funny because I was in the car driving, me and my wife was in the car, and she was like, "The Secret Life of a Truth. I don't get it. Like, what's the, you know, this is her reading the album. And I was like, yo, man, you have to hear it before you, this is like something you have to experience. Don't try to, there's certain things that we can try to break down and dissect, and there's certain things that you just have to like release all inhibitions and allow yourself to just embrace it and just ride with the emotion of it and see where it takes you. And I feel like when we're talking about The Secret Life of a Truth, it's like there's a lot of logic in it, but there's also a lot of emotion in this joint. You know, you talk about, you know, Truth putting on pants and going out to do his thing, and then Lies is out there trying to bring the truth down. But Truth is still doing his thing, and that last verse.
Yeah, let me say it again, because I think I said it wrong. Like Spence said, Paz is dancing and dropping gems at the same time.
At the same time.
Telling the truth to the side piece while lying to the spouse, and the needle in the haystack hits the truth in the gut. That traps intuition, which wakes the spouse up. So it's like you lying to your wife about the side piece, but the intuition wakes the spouse up. So it's like, you know, she's up like, nigga, what you doing? Like looking at you on your phone or whatever like that. But again, a mere mortal would have just said that. A mere mortal would have just said, you know, you on the phone looking on Instagram, or you DMing somebody, and now your wife in your face. Where he goes to, that traps intuition. So it's almost like the needle in the haystack of you lying to your wife is that hits, it says the needle in the haystack hits truth in the gut. And that traps intuition, which wakes the spouse up. So it's almost like you're lying, and the lie hits truth in the gut. So now that truth is hitting the gut, the intuition is what wakes the spouse up, because the spouse is sleeping silently because she trusts you. But now that you've told the lie, you pudge truth in the gut, which now leads to the intuition, which wakes your spouse up.
And now, and
which is really fucking crazy.
It's a really
when
crazy
you think about that.
When you think about it, and it's like he's basically, and it's like, how many times have you heard this story? Like, my man was in the bedroom with his wife, and then out of the blue, she felt something, and she got up and went through his phone, some shit like that.
Right, like, exactly.
He basically took that.
That's the intuition. That's the intuition. Exactly. That's the intuition. Is waking the spouse up.
Waking the spouse up. So you take something that is common, and you to write that in the idea of truth and lie and intuition. That's crazy. That's, to me, that's like, that is like, you know what I mean? Usually
that's that shit. And I don't know if Kosi was into these movies, but Nay used to love them. I forgot. Oh, I think they're called like Inside Out. It's like a Disney movie, and it's all the emotions.
Exactly.
Like, and I feel like that's what he's doing on this song. It's like you said, the truth is a person, the lie is a person, the intuition is a person. And for people out there sleeping, let me say it again. Telling the truth to the side piece while lying to the spouse is the needle in the haystack, hits truth in the gut, that traps intuition, which wakes the spouse up. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next joint, You Don't Stop. Some youngins don't think we got the ad saying, OG, we don't hear you. Telling us you a pioneer means you have American pie nowhere near you. Mace threw him in the yoke and pulled out machine guns and lasers. The thing that stuck with me about this was, again, saying, OG, we don't hear you. Telling us you a pioneer means you have American pie nowhere near you. A mere mortal, again, I'm thinking he's going to say, saying, OG, we don't hear you. Telling us you a pioneer means you don't have any American pie. Like, but he puts it afterwards. So instead of saying you don't have American pie, it's like means you do have American pie. Psych, nowhere near you. And it's just like, again, I guess you know what it was? It's a skit from, it's a sample on Jay Electronica's Exhibit A when, it's like a little movie skit, and it's like, young lad, do you ask a bird how it flies or a dolphin how it swims? He just does what he does. You know what I mean? It's like, like that's what this is almost. Like you don't ask the eagle how he flies. He just does it. It's like you don't ask Paz how he writes rhymes. He just does it. It's like, this is just what he does. But what do you think about that verse, bro?
I mean, as always, I think these joints are, I mean, outside of incredible, I think they're just phenomenal. When you look at that verse and you break it down, I don't know, man, it's deep, man, because I think one thing I like about Paz is, one thing I love about this album, to me, it's grown folk music. Like, it's stuff that I can relate to because it's things that happen as you grow and evolve in life. Like, we're at that point where we're not in our 30s no more. We're coming out of the 40s, going into the 50s. And, when you get to that point, all the stuff that you've learned behind you is now taking shape and taking different forms. But, you can't, you try to, sometimes you can tell some of the young cats some things, sometimes you can't. And the fact that, Paz is talking about himself as an OG, I mean, they've been in this industry for a very long time. Right. And it's not the first time that he's kind of like, talked about or spoke to the fact of him being an MC in this industry for a very long period of time. So, he's laid that out before. But the fact that you're like, yo, man, OG's like, yo, you got that pie nowhere near you. And in his mind, he may feel like that too. Like, yo, we don't really have the American pie. That's not part of what we have right now. But what we do have is we still have daylight. We still have what we do and what we're connected and committed to. But it's I love the fact when MCs give perspective outside of their own. You know what I'm saying? I think that says a lot. Like, he can go, anybody can go and say what they feel that people think about them, but to actually say, look, this is what the young dude is probably saying about me, it gives a different perspective of yourself. And it's like it's almost like looking in the mirror, and you're seeing what you think is good and what you think is dope about yourself, but you're also hearing what naysayers with other opinions are speaking to you, but you're not, you're accepting all that at the same time. So yeah, I think it's again, I think every track on this album has a quotable verse on it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Every single one.
And the last one, and then I want to hear yours. And this is one of yours probably because I heard it. And this is what I mean when I always, say I'm always listening to the beat first, second, third, fourth, fifth.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of lyrics may go over my head. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm listening to the beat. So it may take me time to get to the actual lyric. And you brought this up on NF when he says, I suppose when they were kids and watched cartoons and flew around the room with that man, like that man from Krypton. As they got older, you know how some do, they separate the red and blue and get their Bloods and Crips on. So let's look at that lyric. I suppose when they were kids and watched cartoons and flew around the room like that man from Krypton, of course, Superman.
As
they got older,
whose colors were
red and blue.
Red and blue.
So as they got older, you know how some do, they separate the red and blue and get their Bloods and Crips on. Talk about that.
Man, I didn't hear that verse the first time I heard it. I heard the second time I listened to the album, and I was like, wow, it's so true. Like, as kids, man, you're innocent and you just want to be a part of something great and be a part of something that's incredible and be super in that kind of a way. And and we all do that. You little kid, everybody at some point in time wanted to be Superman. He was a dude, he was strong, he could fly. Everybody, you have all those things. So for an MC, and this is the reason why, man, I love talking about MCs and really want to, talk more to them directly. But as an MC, to see that and to go to kind of zoom out and you get older and all of a sudden now these colors that brought you so much joy as a kid and so much, imagination and just allowed your mind to go to that place is now, if you're into the gang shit, now these are the things that are now bringing anger, violence, frustration. It's a really wild thing to see how a young mind that's uneducated, and I don't mean that in school sense, but uneducated on just life. And then you get older and the things that you used to love are now the things that bring forth hate. I think that shit is, I think the verse itself is so complex. Especially for me being out here in LA and seeing seeing the Bloods, seeing the Crips and stuff like that. And that shit really hurts my heart. But it is, it's a reality for them, but it makes me wonder, what was their childhood like? Were they the ones that was into Superman as kids? And then because they take that shit real serious. Like, if you're a Blood, you're not going to wear blue. You're not even going to say the letter. You're not going to, you're not, if you're a Crip, you're probably not even going to say the letter B. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's such a strong thing to know that this is the reality of it, but it makes you wonder like, oh man, but when you were a kid, all this shit was good. It was all peace. You know what I mean? So it's a very deep verse, man. But I feel like I said, I feel like he has so many of these joints on this album, so many verses.
Right. So what are some of yours, bro? I'm interested to know what some of yours.
Most of the ones I had, you already said. One of the ones, I can't remember what track this was coming from, but I think this is, again, we talk about like, I don't want to say grown folk music, but it's grown folk music. You know what I mean? It's music as it's adult listening. First comes love. Adult
contemporary listener, hip hop.
Exactly.
Adult contemporary hip hop.
First comes love, then comes baby, then comes marriage. Maybe. That shit is so real. And I know, like, working in the teen center and working out there with the kids, I know you see, you may see this directly. But I know all of us as Black people, man, we see this in our community so much. Like, oh, yeah, cats get together, they have the baby, but they don't always make it to marriage. So it does that first comes love, then comes marriage. No, it's flipped around. So the fact that he can see that and flip it in a certain kind of way, and it's so true. It's not like he's reaching for things that may or may not make sense. Like, this is an actual true statement, and the way that it's written out, to me, is just incredible. First comes love, then comes baby, then comes marriage, maybe.
Right. It's funny, man. Way back, maybe like 2002. I was in Potomac Gardens out here in DC. It's a project. That's the first projects I was in. And T came to work with me one day, and one of the mothers was like, "Oh, is this your baby mother?" I was like, "Nah, this is my wife." Yo, the look on her face was like, "Wife." And this is 2002. And I always tell people the hood is only getting worse. So just imagine what that feels like now in 2025. And the fact that that's it wasn't, "Oh, Mr. Kill, is this your girlfriend? Yo, is this your lady friend?" No, the first thing was, "Is this your baby mother?"
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at the time, we didn't even have kids. So it's not even like I'm in the hood, like, "Yeah, my daughter, woo woo." Nothing. But the first thing that you saw when you saw me with another woman was that gotta be his baby mother. Which is crazy when you think about it. Which is crazy.
It's really crazy. And I love the fact that these are the things that are written in art form for the people to listen to digest the way that we're doing, to have conversations around, and to think about, oh, where are we going as a people?
Right.
Like, maybe we need to make some different decisions. Like, how do we address what's happening for the generation that's coming behind us? And I feel like art is always, people say that art is always the thing that changes the times. It always comes some way by some kind of way through art. And I love the fact that we have MCs that are talking about real situations, but are doing it in such a clever and artistic way. So when they say art official intelligence, yeah, that's what that shit is, definitely all of that. And like I said, Pos, he went ham on this joint. And don't get me wrong, you know, let me take it back, because I know, again, we're giving a lot of love to Pos. Dave is all woven all through this album, and he is just coming with his own level of things, his own level of understanding, his own level of perception, and putting that lens on us as a people. And I feel like De La has given us that for a very long time, and it's great to know that they're still giving us that.
Right. You had any other joints left?
You know what, man? I was trying to find some more. This, like, honestly, we can just put on any song and I can find something. But no, as far as written out, I think the only ones I had is the ones we already went through.
All right, no doubt. So at the end of the day, I think I know what you're giving us, but for people watching, how many mics is Cabin in the Sky walking away with from you?
I'm gonna start by saying I don't do this. I don't know the last time. Probably the last record that I gave 5 mics might have been 5 years ago. This is, to me, is a 5 mic album. I'm actually going to call it, and I may have to wait a little bit because I do have a criteria. If I'm going to call it a classic, I got to sit with it for 3 to 6 months, something like that. So I might wait before I say classic, but usually with 5 mics, it's classic already. So the fact that, because at first I was like, maybe it's 4.5, but they did things on this album, like the Cool Summer joint. I thought he was gonna rhyme on that, and I was like, man, if he rhyme on this joint, I'm not feeling that shit. And they switched it up.
And then they switched it to Raw Years.
And I was like, oh, they gave me nothing I didn't like on the album. Like, they gave me nothing. I'm just like, I can do without that shit. Because even the track about the Just How It Is, even that joint. Like, at first, when it first came on, I was like, it's funny because it sound like, when it first starts, it sounds like Porn Star. I don't know if you remember Porn Star from, I forget which album that was on.
Nah.
I want to say Bionics, I think it was.
Okay.
I'm not absolutely sure. So it starts like that, and I was like, okay, where we going? But then, even that track, I'm good with it. Listening to NF. So you come out of NF, you go into the gospel joint. At first, I was like, then I was like, oh no, this joint is kind of dope.
Yeah.
That's the thing that gets me. When you come out of NF, when I was listening to it on the balcony, and my mother-in-law, and coming out of NF, I was like, oh man, I really want to go back to that song. And then Believe came on. I was like, oh, this shit is dope too. And then Yours came on. I was like, oh, this shit is dope too. And then it was like the rest of the album was like boom, 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 boom. And I was like, damn, this shit is phenomenal. Yeah, it's a phenomenal album. I give it 5 mics. I won't say a classic as of yet. I'll wait a little bit, but I pretty much know for me it's going to be a classic because it's something I can always go back to. I can always turn on. And the fact that, you know, and my son, man, he's he's like me. He don't like everything. He don't like everything. So, but I know Patty Cake is his shit. Because that's what I like. One time I was playing it and I just see this dude in the back like this. And I was like, this shit joint, he's like, this is my favorite song. And I was like, bet. That's dope. Yeah. That's dope. So yeah.
That's what's up. Shout out to Ant. The album cover is amazing. Everything about the joint is bananas to me. It's 5 mics for me. I literally can't stop listening to this album. Exactly. And those are albums that I love. I always compare it to like dating a woman. There have been times you date somebody and you're like, yeah, I'll call her. Or, you know, I'm bored. Let me call a little girl. And then there's other times you date a shorty and you can't wait to see her again. Yo, what you doing right now? What you doing after work? Like, I feel like this album is that shorty for me. Like, it's like, I can't not want to listen to it. Like, somehow, some part of my day, I'm going to want to listen to it. Also, it's an album that makes me smile. Yeah. And I don't get that from hip hop. You know, I love the clips to death. I can't say it's an album that makes me smile. I mean, it makes me smile because of the bar work. But I mean, if I'm having a bad day, I'm not putting on that album. It's not going to get me out of a bad mood. One day I was going to work, pissed off about something. And I played this album. By the time I got to work, I was in a good mood. And that usually doesn't come from hip hop. That'll either come from gospel. I'll throw on some old R&B or something like that. But hip hop is usually not the genre of music that gets me out of a bad mood. In fact, it usually gets me hyped up to fuck somebody up. So that's kind of like, so the fact that this album gave me that, and it's not just that, like, I feel like this is an album. And what I mean by that is I feel like so many people nowadays just make mixtapes. They record 16 songs, 16 songs make the album. Hey, how we going? What's the track listing gonna be? Just whatever, put it in whatever order you want. And it sounds like a mixtape and it feels like a mixtape. This feels like an album. When at the end of You Don't Stop, they just start talking about Dave and you hear the string section come in, just playing old De La songs. You hear Stakes Is High, you hear Me, Myself and I. And then it feels like an album. And it feels like a De La album. And I keep going back to De La Soul Is Dead because I feel like that and 3 Feet is the De La that I love. Like that was the De La I fell in love with. I love Stakes Is High, I love Balloon Theory, but to me they don't feel like what De La Is Dead and 3 Feet sound like to me at least.
And if I could add on to that, man, the way that this track listing is put together, I also love the fact that you have Maceo, who is a part of De La Soul, part of the foundation, who's also a DJ. I feel like Maceo actually still put his foot into the thing, as far as like, because you get, I feel like, this album can easily be done live, be done live. And I feel like those aspects are in there. Whoever put these track listings together, the way that the album was put together, because I work in the dance theater world, so this thing of putting a piece of work together, you always got to think about the beginning, the middle, and the end, and how everything is going to connect, and what it looks like if it does connect, if we're telling a linear story, or if we're not, and if we are telling a linear story, how does this form? I feel like they did such a beautiful job with this, and to end on "Don't Push Me." The way that "Don't Push Me" ends is incredible. And then you have I'm not even gonna try to say this brother's name. What's his name? What's his name? Giancarlo
Esposito. Giancarlo Esposito.
The fact that he goes, "Thank you, Dave." That's the last thing you hear is "Thank you, Dave." I thought that was like that's just like, it's like the end of the movie, and then the climax, and then the credits come up and everybody's clapping. That's how that shit felt for me. But I will say there is one thing about this album. There is one thing that, if I had one negative aspect to say about it, it would be from a from an engineer's perspective, and I don't think this is their fault. The album, when you listen to it on streaming, it sounds a little over compressed. And me and a good brother of mine who's an audio engineer, I'm not gonna say his name because I don't know if he wants me to put this out there, but we were having a conversation about it. He was like, "Oh man, it's something about the mix." And I listened to it and I was like, "Oh, you're right. Some of this stuff sounds over compressed." But I think what happens is when you mix a project and then you upload it to streaming, iTunes does its own compression, Spotify does its own compression, and I can't think of the other one. Everybody does their own little compression.
Yeah, real quick, talk about what is compression for somebody watching.
So compression in a nutshell is like if you take the highest point of what I'm saying and the lowest point of what I'm saying, and you try to push it together so they're not that far apart. You get this compression that happens with the signal. And sometimes if something is over compressed, it starts to sound a little distorted. So I think what happened and the reason why you have compression is because if you're on the mic and you're doing something and you're going high and low, I don't have to keep riding the level up and down. Like, oh, you're going too hot, let me bring you down. Oh, you're too low, let me bring you back up. Oh, you're too hot, let me bring you down. So compression will help an audio engineer kind of keep you in a space where I don't have to do too much. The compression is going to have your lows be a little high and your highs will come down a little bit lower. So they're not that far from each other. But again, going back, when something is over compressed, you're taking something that's like this and it's compressing it again. So when that happens, you get a little distortion. And I hear some of the distortion on some of Pasa's verses, and I'm like, oh man, why does that sound over like a little? What is that extra compression that's going on right there? Why does it sound a little? It's a little distortion. It's not much, but like I said, this is not nothing that I think was the fault of De La. I think this has just happened. This is just like what happens with streaming stuff. I know I've uploaded stuff to streaming platforms, and it sounds more compressed than what I would like it to be. But you know, to people that listening, a lot of people probably not even gonna like hear it at all. But I'm sure certain engineers are probably just like, oh man, why does the vocal sound a little tingy in there? I'm not sure.
And I think that goes great into what Ann is saying right here. I listen to it a lot on streaming. I'm going forward with the CD copy for real. Yeah. And I think like that's great knowledge, sound quality. Shout out to Ann for tuning in. I think the thing is, and I was with T, Nay, and JR, we were going to the Clip show, and we were in the whip, and I had I think the volume on my car goes up to like 40 or something, and I had the clips streaming at 30, but then when I put the CD in at 30, it was so much louder, so much fuller, so much bigger. Exactly. And it bugged me out. Like, I know, being with you and being in studio for 40 years, I know what you're saying, but it just still blew my mind. Like, God damn, like the difference between streaming and when people ask me like, yo, Kill, why you still be buying the physicals? And because like better. The sound quality is bigger. The sound quality is better. And I know the average listener, you got to understand, y'all, we come from an era where I grew up with Isuzu Amigos. I grew up with Nissan Maximas. I grew up with Benzie boxes. I grew up where your trunk was rattling. You know what I mean? Where people could hear somebody coming from a block away. Nowadays, music is being mixed to be listened to in AirPods and be listened to MacBook Pro speakers and things like that. And then the average person may not even have and I'm not saying this, but I'm just saying the average person may be on a regular PC. The regular person who just wants to buy a pair of headphones, like you said, Eb, isn't going to hear it. I'm one of those people where it's like, no, when I was getting my car, it's got to have the premium audio system. I cannot go whatever is, if the 8 speakers, what's that one, 17? Give me the 7. I need that model of that car. Even with headphones, I just went out and got some Bowers and Wilkins. Like, I want that, and there's a huge difference. So I know streaming is much more easy. I know it's $9.99 a month and you got access to everything. But if you like my man said, he was gonna buy the CD. If you really love the artist, buy the music. I'm not saying to go out and buy everything. I didn't buy everything that dropped this year, But if I really fuck with it, I brought the clips. I got the mob. You see you see the Nas and Primo right here. Like, you got to go out and support these artists. You know, you can't complain about there's no good hip hop if you're not going out and the only thing you're doing is spending $9.99 a month on Apple. Like, you can't just do that.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of that, man, I feel like streaming is, because of the fact, you know, it comes that word convenience. Because it's convenient, we all kind of bought into it because it's convenient and it's easier and you can get everything that you want and you can set everything's at your fingertips and stuff like that. But I think we all knew in the beginning of this, one of the things that we sacrificed was sound quality. Yeah. And sound quality says a lot, because you're to experience an album is to experience a piece of, or if we look at music the way we go to look at Kayinde Wale, for instance. You want to go to Kayinde Wale's show, you're going to look at the picture, you're going to look at the painting, you're going to study it, you'll be like, oh, this shit is dope, oh, this shit is dope. You go into museums, you're going to look at portraits and do the same thing. We need to start going back to looking at our actual music and doing the same thing as well. Like, let's look at our music in the same way. Let's experience it. And by going and getting something outside of just the streaming, don't get me wrong, streaming platforms are getting better. Are they at the level of analog? No, they probably never will be. They may or may not, I don't know. But it's something to be said about how music is experienced. And I think even to the younger cats, if you're not familiar with the CD, and I get it, like, you know what I mean, you came up, it wasn't no CDs. It was just like, you know, plug, you know, put the earbuds in and call it a day and keep going. But we are sacrificing a little bit of the of our connection to I think our emotional selves, or just in our bodies itself. By doing that, you're missing out. Like you said, when you put the CD in, everything sounds fuller and louder. You hear so much more when you can really hear it the way that it's supposed to be heard. You'll get so much more out of it. So it's just something, and I trust me, I got to work on this myself. I think I have one CD player in here somewhere at this point, because even to this day, it's hard to find a CD player. But I know I still got all my CDs, and I know that the sound quality on the CD is going to be better than the streaming. So yes, support our artists, and maybe we, you know, start looking at music as an experience again, y'all. Like, you know, that's just one thing I love about this album is I can put it on. I can start from track 1, and I'll just let it go. And I can't, like, I went, like today, preparing for the show, I had to run to the market. I put it on, I'm listening to it. I was hoping I had enough time to get through the whole album, not because I wanted to do the show, just because I love this fucking album. Like, I don't want to be done before I get home. Like, I want to hear the whole thing. So taking this time, man, to really experience and enjoy music the same way you would sit and enjoy a movie, it could be a benefit to many people, man, and to the artists themselves. Let's get back into this form of art when it comes to music.
Right. Shout out to Eddie, Apartment 5B fam, Cabin in the Skies, 5 mics to me. Excellent execution on every level, no doubt. And Ev, you made a good point. Physical media, yo, it is crazy because y'all, this is real records. And they're everywhere. They're literally CDs are stacked over here. They're this whole thing over here is all CDs. And I mean, but you know, the thing is that it's like, yo, if you fuck, I always tell people, if you fuck with me, then fuck with me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Don't say you fuck with me, but I ain't gonna watch your documentary. Oh yeah, I fuck with you, Kill, but I ain't gonna buy that album you just dropped. Oh man, I love what you do for the kids, but nah, I ain't supporting you. Like, you know what I mean? So that's the thing. If you fuck with these artists, fuck with these artists. You know what I mean?
All the way,
that's
man.
all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like you gotta do that. Thank you, and just and typing in the collection is. It's been collecting, and this ain't even a 10% of this, man. Like, you know what I mean? So good looking for that, for the love for the collection. The thing I did want to say about this album that was crazy to me, I'm listening to it for the first time, Cabin in the Sky, and I'm like, yo, y'all should end the album right here. Like, why is there another song after Cabin in the Sky? But then when I hear Don't Push Me, and it's Dave, it's like, oh, okay. Yeah.
I love that shit, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's
like,
needed.
oh, because I was like, yo, what the fuck? That was the perfect way to finish the album. And it's just like, then that comes in and it's just like, oh, this is perfect. You know what I
And
mean?
hearing Dave say close to the edge and the way he's like edge like that, it's just still something, man. Like whoever, and I would love to find out if it was just daylight, if it was just Possum Mason in a room and decided how to piece this album together. I'm curious of all the minds that went into what is this set list will look like? What are these tracks going to be about? How should this sound? How should we start it? How should we end it? Like these are the things that I would really love to get under, man, when we talk about this project, because to me it's an art piece. It's an art piece.
Yeah. Shout out to Tis the Life. About cassettes too. You're 100% right.
True.
The hard part is just it's hard to find cassette players. Like I was just saying with DVD. I was talking to my man Jace the other day. I was like, bro, you gotta go out and get a turntable. You know, because he was saying like, damn, I want to support the artist, but you know, I don't have a CD player in the car. I don't have a CD player in the house. Like we're at a point where mostly almost everything we do is Bluetooth. You know what I mean? So we stream to our headphones. You know what I mean? Like we stream to our Sonos speakers. You know, but there's something about that connection. You know what I mean? There's something about even my new headphones. When you put the cord in and you put the cord in the phone and you put the cord in the headphones, it gets even louder. You know what I mean? Because of the lossless audio, I think. This is where I start dipping on tech or audio tech stuff. But just saying all that to say, incredible album. I give it 5 mics. I see me playing this album. And again, this is, for me, from the show about, Nas and Premier's Light Years, I honestly can't see me playing that album years from now. To be honest with you, I honestly probably can't see me playing the album
months from now.
There are songs on there that I can see me putting on a mix or doing something like that. But with this Daylight album, I can easily tell you, like, I will be listening to this album for years. What was this joint? Even the joint Will Be with Yummy, where it's just like, the old, this will be, like, it's like, yo, this is a fun song. Like, it's a fun song.
It's a fun album.
Dope.
It's classic Daylight. This is classic Daylight.
Classic Daylight. It's a fun album, but it's a dope album. It has serious topics on it. Like, if you really, I just think that this is one album, and I challenge people out there, you have to sit with this album. Like, this isn't the type of album to me that I'm going to put that on while I'm cleaning the house. Or, I'm going to put that on while, I'm watching, I'm really watching something on TV and it's just background music. I really think, and another thing I love about the album is it taps out at, what is this? An hour and 11 minutes. And it's like, you really don't get albums like that. You're used to getting things that are like 35 minutes tops, 40 minutes tops. So
and
to say that this
about that time, you don't even notice it. It goes so fast. That's how you know the album is good. Because you'll sit and listen to it, and it'll be over before you know it. Right.
You know what I mean? And this is one that I feel like is dope from beginning to end. So if you haven't heard it, check it out. Very dope album. Salute to Nas for Mass Appeal for putting this together.
Yes, indeed. Big up to
like
Mass
I told you,
Appeal.
Ev, definitely follow Paz on IG. Even on Twitter, follow it, because they show a lot of the behind the scenes making of the album. You know what I mean? They show the string quartet coming in, working on the strings. They show Pete making the beat for Yours. And then it's like he has it coming out the MP, then they got him in the studio, then Com rhyming on it. So for people who want to see some of the behind the scenes, definitely check out Paz and Day Live for all that. Again, crazy dope album. Salute for everybody for tapping in. You know what I mean? And everything like that. Real quick, Anna's saying the lost and found spots in mom and pop stores with CD players and cassette players, like independent record stores and big lots. That's definitely a good spot to try and go find some joints. Ev, where can they get at you, good brother?
Instagram is Ev_ASIS Ev Assis. You can get at me there. Also, one half of a conglomerate. You might as well say 7 NMS, 7 names, but take out the vowel 7 NMS. That'll give you information on the Prophet project that we're still touring and we're still working and things like that. If you're not familiar with it, and the reason why, I mean, I'm an MC that loves MCs and loves this idea of how MCs create their art, what the art form is about, how it's dissected. So, the theater, it's a theater performance, it's an album, Good Looking Out Kill, it's a production, it's an album. We're still working on getting the book out there, just really wanting to, the whole idea of it is to view our MCs the same way we view our poets, the same way we view our painters, the same way we view our dancers. Like it takes style, it takes technique, it takes diligence and study. So we need to celebrate all the work that MCs do to create things such as this project right here. We need to celebrate that and celebrate the work that's put into making it happen.
Right, no doubt. Kill 889 Twitter, IG. Come to the timelines. Always some shit on there. One of my peoples was saying, "Yo, me want to always this be an educational piece." He was like, "Yo, you should shout out like a piece of vinyl." You know what I mean? And give a little quick history on something in the collection. So I will say this. What I'm going to do is pull out this, Ev. I don't know if you remember this. This is Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince first album, Rock the House. Now, this was on Word Up Records. This was an indie record company out of Philly at the time. This is before they got signed to Jive. Now, this is, it's not crazy hard to find. Like, you can find it, but it's a little pricey. But this didn't end up being the album cover. I'll pull out that album cover. But the problem was, Ev, the reason I didn't like this cover was because it's a blatant bite off the Run DMC album cover.
It is. Yes, it is.
I mean, even from the words King of Rock being in red to Rock the House being in red, it was a blatant copy. And
it seemed like, you think they were just trying to do an ode to Run DMC?
Here's the problem. It just came out. Like, we can't do odes to things like, yo, it's too early to do an ode to like Kendrick's Damn. Like, it just dropped. Like nigga, like this would literally be like, yo, we should do an ode. We should do an ode for let God sort them out. Like, no, it's not long enough. I'm trying to find the cover they ended up going with was this joint right there. Once they signed the job, they changed the cover. So this is the cover that most people know for Rock the House, which I thought was whack too, because I'm like, these niggas got a big ass dollhouse. Like, come on, y'all. Yo, and this was during a time when I was still going to Brooklyn every summer, and my Brooklyn niggas was roasting Philly hip hop. Like, yo, your man on the cover with a goddamn Barbie dream house, man. What's wrong with your niggas? You know what I mean? I'm like, damn, these niggas got this joint, but that is a piece of dope vinyl right there. I said it the other night. This was it for me and Will right here. This is where we parted ways. This is the album.
That's the first one, though.
It's the first one. We parted ways very quickly. Right. On the bag, Jeff, when he won the DMC competition in New York. So very dope album. If you never heard that joint, check it out. And that's it. The second album we all know is this. He's the DJ. I'm the rapper. Right. It was the first double album in hip hop. You know what I mean? So when we talk about all the, the dopest double albums, this was the first one. This is back because on vinyl, you can only put but so many songs. So at the end of the day, if this was a CD, it wouldn't be a double CD because all the songs could fit on one CD. Right, but when this dropped, it had to be a double album. So this is actually hip hop's first double album. For people who may not know about Jeff and Will, they had a joint with Lecoq Sportif, which was a French clothing sneaker line. So that's what they sporting in this joint right here. Definitely check out.
Add, man, if y'all have not heard or read Will's
Oh yeah, yeah.
Book.
Book.
He goes into that album with along the other albums. It's
It's a
such a
great
good read.
book.
It's a
It's
great book, really
yeah.
great book.
It's one of those books that I have when the one thing I'll say about people is when people come to me and they're struggling with things, if you know, and again, niggas know Nays at UMD, money is tighter than tight. But I will always send somebody a book. And I have sent at least two brothers that Will Smith book. You know what I mean? Because I feel like there's definitely some game in there.
Yeah, it really is.
I love that book, read it twice. There you go. You know what I mean? Very
I
dope.
have the
Very
audiobook.
dope.
I went through it twice. I think I'm gonna do it again. It's one of the things that when you're you may come to a fork in the road in your life. You can put that thing on and it gives you inspiration, gives you a little bit of clarity, and helps remind you what your focus is and what the goal is. So,
Right. Right.
Yeah, I got to big up Will for that book, man. It's a great book.
Yeah. Very dope book. I know he was canceled because of the whole Chris Rock slap, but still a good book. So that's it. Y'all know me, Twitter, IG, Kill889. Get at me. And that's the guy right there. He's probably not going to respond because he don't be around, but I'll make sure the message gets to him and everything.
Send it to
like
me. I'll
that.
respond. I'll do a better job. You
send it to him. We gonna try. All right, good brother. I'm gonna rap with you, bro. Thank you for everybody who's still rocking with us all night. We appreciate y'all.
Definitely.
We appreciate the love in the chat. Definitely, wanna make this happen more often. Yo, and I gotta send a special shout out to my man Easy, man. Easy had called me a minute ago and was like, "Yo, Kill, when new albums come out, we should, pop up, do something." And blame my mind, not the heart, man. I totally forgot about it. Easy hit me today, like, damn, bro, you done bit the idea. You ain't even invite me. And I'm like, nah, nigga. Like, y'all know that's not my spirit at all. I wrote this nigga a book.
Like
I wrote this nigga a book like, my bad, bro. It didn't even go down like that. I was just trying to do a show with AG, and Ill Fam said, why don't we live stream it? So I want to send out an apology. And again, this is what I mean by adjusting each other's crowns, man. Like, as a 51-year-old man, I will apologize. Easy gave me the idea for this, and I just didn't even put two and two together. So, I apologize, brother. It's never that. We gonna be doing this because this was E's idea. But like, I literally gave him the step by step. Like, no, it started like this, and this is how it morphed into this. So. Just shout out to E. So so I'll check y'all next week, good people.
Proceed. What you think all the guns is for? 2 Block 9s. Any motherfucker whispering about mine.